Hey peeps, Emma here. In today's video we are diving into the ultimate boss fight strategies that will give you the upper hand, whether you're fighting for the first time or going for the perfect kill. Let's jump right in. Tip number 1. Use your surroundings. Learn what can block an enemy's attack and what is destructible. Obstacles like Bowmass's skull or the stone pillars around the Elder are indestructible, perfect to hide behind when things get dicey. But remember, if you can damage it, the boss can too. Like Yggdrasil's fingers and Father's arena, they will break from meteors and such. Keep that in mind. Distractions can be a lifesaver. Set down a couple of wards or other devices that bosses attack. This gives you time to heal and reposition without taking direct hits because it is distracted. Next up, guiding the boss. Spawn locations are indestructible. Even if the boss goes rampage, the summoning spots will stay intact. Guide the boss around these locations, like circling Bowmass around his skull. Learning how to guide a boss around will be a lifesaver. And always start your fights in the morning. Daytime battles mean better visibility and fewer distractions from night spawns. Just go to sleep and then the next morning, wake up and go to fight the boss. If part of the arena is underwater or cluttered with trees, raise the ground or clear obstacles. You definitely don't want to be wet or stuck while fighting bosses, so be aware which obstacles can be used by or against you. And did you know that you can parry bosses? While it doesn't give you bonus damage, it does open up a chance to counterattack, while also reducing incoming damage. But make sure your timing is on point, you don't want to get hit in the face. The same can be done with a dodge roll, but you really need to be sure that you know the enemy's attacks. Wearing the highest tier of armor available is a no-brainer. If you want to mix and match, try parrying a heavy helmet with lighter gear to keep your speed high and your armor strong. In general, bosses are not very fast, so armor should be your main focus. Next up, it is very important to clear out the creatures in the surrounding area, so you will not be bothered during your boss fight. Lately, the respawn rates seem to have been raised a little bit more, so place down some anti-spawning devices to keep the place clear. Next up is one of my favorite things to do. Build a camp nearby, but not too close. You don't want the boss to spawn into your base. Yes, this has happened to me before. A bed, a portal and some extra supplies like food and potions will help you bounce back if things go south. But surely with bosses like Father, you want to make sure that your base is far enough away from its spawn location. Some bosses are very destructive and you need to keep this in mind. What you can also do is have a big window, so if you have a group of people and someone is low health, they can always go up into the base and shoot arrows from there in a safe location. And as you might have noticed, health is king in boss fights. Focus on eating high health foods and take healing potions with you. You'll need extra health to absorb the damage bosses dish out. And make sure you have the appropriate elemental potions as well, like frost potions in the mountains or poison resist against bosses like Bowmass and the Queen. And of course, also stamina and mana potions can be interesting to take along, but if you're not one to use them, don't let them clutter your inventory. And don't forget peeps, skills matter. The more you upgrade them, the stronger your attacks, the quicker your shots and the safer your defense will be. This becomes especially crucial in the late game fights. And you know what else you shouldn't forget? To like this video, I really appreciate it. And we have already mentioned this before, but bosses have vulnerable moments, like when they just finished attacking, or when they are spawning in. Take advantage of these moments to deal damage without getting hit yourself. And never enter a boss fight without a ranged weapon. Even if it's not your primary weapon, you'll need something to keep dealing damage to the boss so it does not regen too much of its health when you might be low on health yourself. Most bosses are resistant to piercing damage, but you can do really nice things with elemental damage. Use the right arrows for the right boss. And be sure to prepare in case of death. You never plan on dying during a boss fight, but it might just happen. Have a chest near your bed stocked with extra food, armor and potions, and if you're in the mountains, be sure to bring extra capes. And have a location close to your bed where you can get your rested buff again. You never want to fight a boss without your rested buff. When fighting a boss fight, always be mindful of the weather. If it is raining before the fight starts, you will still be wet at the beginning of your fight, and that can severely impact your stamina regen, as well as the damage you take from electrical creatures like Eikthyr or Yagluth. The only exception to this is the bowmass fight, since it always rains in the swamps, even during the boss fight. If you don't know which weapon to use during a boss fight, use a weapon you're proficient in. This is key in dealing more damage or using less stamina. The higher your skill, the more efficient you will be. Stick to what you know best for the best results. Got any secret boss tips of your own? Share them with the community. I'd love to see what tactics you found most helpful. Different Forsaken powers can turn the tide in a fight. Some great options are Eiktyr's power, Bowmass's power and Yagluth's power. Against many of these bosses, having a couple of these at the same time can be useful, but this is only possible if you are playing on a multiplayer server, so choose wisely if you are alone. Now, these spawn locations aren't just for summoning. Digging underneath the spawn stones can create a safe zone where bosses cannot reach you. You can also raise the ground, creating a safe pillar, perfect for catching a breather or for healing. Or let some of your pets join the fight. They can be tricky to manage, but they pack a punch when used right. Rideable or followable pets are the best option to take with you to a boss fight because you will be able to get them there. My favorite option personally is a 2-starred wolf because they can follow you and they deal a lot of fast damage. It is also very important to learn the attacks of your enemy. Each boss has a set of attacks and patterns. Like the first 5 bosses have 3 main attacks that they will use. The 2 latter bosses will have more attacks up their sleeves. Knowing when they are about to strike or when you can take a breather can help you time your attacks or dodge efficiently. And there you have it, peeps! 20 strategies to make you dominate every boss battle in Valheim. If you want to learn more about each boss's weakness, be sure to check out this video with a more in-depth guide on each boss. Thank you for watching. Dag